Now, as I said, ladies and gentlemen, our top focus remains West Bengal because the health services there are suffering. More than 31 days of protest on the back of the brutal rape and murder of a trainee doctor in Kolkata. Now, the junior doctors, remember, the Supreme Court had given them the deadline to come back and resume work Tuesday, 5 p.m. They did not resume their duties. The health secretary yesterday had written to them to come and meet. Today, the chief secretary of the West Bengal government wrote to the protesting doctors asking them to come and meet the Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee at 6 p.m. at the Secretariat. The suggestion was 10 to 15 delegates from the protesting doctors to meet the Chief Minister. Now, the doctors have written back and they have said that they agree, they want to meet the Chief Minister, but they want a larger delegation. They want about 30-member delegation, which is going to meet the Chief Minister. They also want this meeting to be one-on-one with the Chief Minister and this entire meeting to be telecast live. Now, these are some riders with which the doctors have agreed to meet the Chief Minister. Let me very quickly, my colleague Saurabh Gupta, who's joined us with more details. He has been following and covering this story for the last few days. Saurabh, now, only one question. Does this mean that the meeting, will be delayed further because the government will have to respond to this new riders that the doctors have put, and they have put these riders through, or at least sent that email right at the time when the Chief Minister was supposed to meet them?
That's right. And, obviously, the government of West Bengal has been trying to get these junior doctors to sort of dialogue into a space of dialogue where they can discuss what their issues are. Now, initially, the doctors said they were open to dialogue. Then when there was a letter from the health secretary, they said, oh, we don't want, we are insulted by this, we are protesting against the health secretary, we want his resignation, and therefore we want to, but we still keep the doors for dialogue open. Then, of course, there was news yesterday that the Chief Minister was in fact waiting for the doctors. That, of course, the doctors responded to saying we are still open to meeting, and then they sent an email saying that we want 30 delegates and we want this to be televised, etc. The Chief Secretary wrote back saying, come to us with about 15 members of delegation, meet us, and this will happen at Nabanno. Now, the Chief Secretary sits in Nabanno, the Chief Minister also sits in Nabanno, it's the State Secretariat, and the Chief Minister is still in the building. And this meeting was supposed to take place at 6 today. Yesterday also the Chief Minister waited for the doctors, but today also the Chief Minister has yet again, the Chief Secretary once again wrote to these doctors to come to Nabanno. But, obviously at some point the doctors have also again, said that they now want 30 delegates and they want an assurance that the Chief Minister will be present, all of these things. Now, this is becoming a bit of a back and forth on minutiae. Dialogue has to happen, that's not happening. Whether it will be 30 or 15, whether it will be televised or not, whether, the Chief Minister will be present or not, these are the issues that are now being debated in these letters.
Saurabh, can I ask you one thing?
Doctors are very clear that they want it to be televised.
Is there a sense that the doctors are now playing hardball? The government finally, whether it is under the pressure from the Supreme Court, is reaching out, and the doctors now, like you said, minute details are being discussed back and forth over emails, are playing little hard to, in fact, get at this moment.
Let's separate the two issues. One is in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court's orders are very clear. The doctors were supposed to return to work by 5 p.m. yesterday. They haven't. They've defied the Supreme Court order. How the Supreme Court views it, what steps it takes, how it will, handle it, this direct defiance of the Supreme Court order is something that will be decided by the Supreme Court. The government is very clearly not venturing into that territory at all. What, however, the government is doing is that it is trying to initiate dialogue with the doctors. It started with an email from the health secretary, which the doctors rejected. Then, of course, the Chief Secretary wrote to them, to which the doctors wrote back again, saying that we want 30. Now, whether it's 30 or 15, the points of discussion will be the same. And a delegation of 30 or 15 is something that now is really shouldn't be an issue of whether this dialogue should happen or not, because that's something that needs to happen. At the end of the day, there are patients who are suffering, patients who are whose treatment is affected, something that the Chief Secretary also highlighted in his letter. The Chief Secretary also highlighted how the doctors have not adhered to the Supreme Court's order. But however, at this point, yes, you can say that the doctors are playing hardball, but to what purpose and to what end is something that we're still trying to figure out. Because at the end of the day, they say they're open to dialogue, the government says they're open to dialogue.
Okay.
It is minutiae whether it's 15 or 30, Of course, they say it has to be televised for the sake of transparency, and there have been many meetings, administrative meetings that are also televised. That has been a practice. So that, of course, is something that's there. And the other issues like, the Chief Minister will be present or not. Yesterday, the Chief Minister, we were told, was waiting in the Secretariat. Today also, she's still here.
All right, Saurabh, let's leave it there. We'll wait from the response of the government. As soon as we get it, Saurabh is going to break it here on NDTV first. And then, of course, we'll let you know what the government thinks about the new charter of demands that the doctors have put through. But, in politics, as the now former MP, not former yet because the Rajya Sabha Speaker, in fact, the chairman has to, in fact, accept his resignation. But the fact is, Jawahar Sircar said that it was Mamata Banerjee's style to reach out to such protest, to, in fact, make those protests, make herself one with the protest. This time, she's been found lacking as far as her outreach to the doctors is concerned. Let's wait and see what happens with this response from the government of West Bengal.